guys, and welcome to my channel. So this is my first YouTube video and I decided to do a get to know me book edition. I feel like the best way of getting to know me and who I am as a person is knowing the books that I like to read. So this is all of the books that I love to read and that are my favorite and that I feel like speak about me and who I am. So let's get started. This is in no particular order, by the way. These are just books that I love. They're all number one to me. Like, there's no order to them. First, we have The Giver. The Giver is a classic, by the way. Okay, like, how do you not know The Giver? I don't know. This book, beautiful, beautiful. Like, I don't even know how to describe this book. It's so perfect. It's about this kid who's in this, like, different kind of society than we live in. And he is like trying to kind of just get through the world, and he doesn't really understand a lot of the things, and he's been given the role of the giver, and he has to receive these memories from the society before, and it's so interesting, and I just love it, and it's so good, you guys. Like, I don't even know how to, like, this was the first like book I've ever read. As you can tell, she's very loved. The spine is literally being held together by tape. She's wrinkles everywhere. She's been loved. She's been loved. This was my sister's copy. Back when she was in middle school, they gave her this book, and I took it from her because I was like, oh, what's this? And I read it, and I fell in love, and I've been in love with this book ever since. I reread this book so often. It is one of my favorite books to reread. It's one of my favorite books to just sit there and like think about society and who we are as a person. So yeah, I've got The Giver. We're gonna do these next. And these are so controversial. Maybe I shouldn't be talking about them in this video, but a little backstory of these books. I first read these books when I was, oh my god, I don't even know how old I was. Maybe I was like 12. And I fell in love with books because of this book series. It's the first book series that I ever read that wasn't like the popular mainstream books, that wasn't like Dork Diaries or Diary of a Wimpy Kid. These were books that my sister had that she told me to read, and I was like, okay. And I read the first one, I fell in love immediately. And this is what had me falling in love with reading and romance and writing. And if I read them now, like if I were to read them for the first time now, I don't think I would love them as much. But I think because of the fact that they're so tied to my youth, I just love them so heavily. And it is the Selection series. These books are very YA. These books are very meant for a young adult. I wouldn't even really consider them young adult. I would kind of consider them more like contemporary romance. Just kind of meant for like the younger audience, like middle schools. And they're actually, they're not that good. Writing wise, they're not that good. Story wise, like plot wise, they're not that good. There's a lot of plot holes. There's a lot of things that don't make sense, but I just love them. I just think that they're really precious, and let me see if I can, yeah. I just think that they're super precious, and I just love the romance in them, and as you can tell, they're very beloved. I actually have, these are the original copies. These were my sister's. I took them from her as well, but I actually also have signed copies of them. I didn't grab them, totally forgot for a second, but I have signed copies of them, and they don't have my writings in it though, because I haven't read the signed copies yet. They're the same books, obviously. I just haven't gone through and written all of my little sticky notes and my notes and stuff. This is what led to me reading. This is what led to me write at some point in my life. This is what led to me being like, romance is good. So, are they overly hated on? Yes. Do I disagree with the hate? Not necessarily, but I will also defend them because I love them. Next one is, this was such a mainstream book. I picked this one out. I bought this one when it was super popular and everyone was reading it. Everyone was like, oh my god, like this book is so good. And it is. Some people don't like it now, but it's so good. It is The Song of Achilles. I love this book. This is the first Greek mythology related book I ever read, and I love the romances. I love the story. I love Achilles and his storyline. It's so good. It was such a good book. And I don't even know like what to say about these books. It was just so precious to me. Yeah, this was just what led to me reading Greek mythology and getting really interested in Greek mythology. This is a 10 out of 10 book. All of these are 10 out of 10 books for me. And do they all have some sort of meaning to me? A little bit. And that's why I love them. That's why I love books, because you can correlate your life to it somehow. We will find a way. This is Song of Achilles. So good. I recommend this to anybody who wants to get into Greek mythology, who doesn't really know where to begin. I think Song of Achilles is really good, but this one, loved, as you can tell. And if we flip through, you'll see like my highlights and well, you actually can't, but there are highlights and quotes and stuff in there, I promise. Next one. I read for the first time my senior year of high school, and it is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I'm so excited for the sequel. Nothing Like the Movies. Oh my god, it's gonna be so good. I absolutely love this book. I love the characters. I love Wes. I love Wes. I love Wes. I love Liz. I know Liz sometimes like kind of gives me like secondhand embarrassment, because sometimes she like says things and I'm like, or like she's so oblivious to certain things, but that's totally okay. So with Better Than the Movies, I have a highlight guide. I do this in every book. I always write a guide with the highlight colors, and because Better Than the Movies is the book that it is, there's a complete highlight for Taylor Swift references, because there's so many that she needed her own. This was like one that I had made as I started reading, and I was like, yeah, this book is really good. I can't believe I slept on it the first time around. I love romances like this. I love rom-coms like this. I love when it's so cheesy, and fake dating trope, low-key my favorite. It's so incredibly unrealistic, but it is my favorite trope, because like that would never happen, but it's so real. It's so real, and like you know they're gonna fall in love at the end, because that's exactly what happens. But I live for it every time. We have this book has been through the grapevine with me. So this book, I've read it a couple times. First time I read it, I could not get through like a couple of chapters. I was so over it. And then second time I read it was because everyone was like, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good. And I was like, okay, like I'll keep trying. Second time I read it, I got through. Couldn't stand it. Couldn't, like, I think I still have it on my Goodreads. By the way, I'm gonna link all of my socials down below. Give a follow. You'll see my life. But Goodreads, on Goodreads, my review of this book, I was like, I DNF'd it. I didn't finish it. I could not stand it. Like the characters bothered me so much. All these things. And then I watched the show, because there's a show for this book. I watched the show and I loved the show. I fell in love with the show. I loved the actors. I loved the characters in the shows and how they represented them. And then I got older and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this book a chance again. And I think what happened was, and now I love it. Now clearly because she's in this video. I think what happened was, like, when I first read it, I think I was like 16, 17. I just, at the time, like, I was a live, breathe, and die, like, happily ever after romances. If it didn't have a happy ending, was it really a romance to me? Like, that's what I thought. So this book, like, its ending being so open ending, I was like, no, that's not, no. But when I read it, when I got older, a little bit more mature, and understood like the more hardships of a relationship and life in general, I love this book. And if you haven't guessed what this book is, it is Normal People by Sally Rooney. I love Normal People. As I got older and I started to understand Marianne and Connell more, I loved them. As I understood that life sucks and that sometimes a relationship can take a toll because of it, that was when I loved this book. And this book is amazing. It is so good. I honestly recommend this to anybody. The rest of the books are all rom-coms. As you can tell, rom-com is my favorite category. My favorite genre. Not category, genre. One day I'll give you guys like a bookshelf tour. And you'll see that the common thread through them all is romance. I don't I have read books that aren't romance because I'm not that, I don't know what's the word for it, but I'm not that keen into just romance. But the majority of them is romance. I'm a romance girly forever and ever. So the next ones that you'll see will be all like YA romances for the most part. Actually, no, they're all YA romances. So next one is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. So Love and Gelato is so cute. It's about this girl whose mom had passed away and she goes to Italy because that's where her father lives. She had just found out about him, and one of her mom's last wish before she died was, I want you to go to Italy and I want you to, you know, experience life and all these things. She's in Italy. She's trying to discover the place and also like grieve her mother. And then one of the person that she was staying with, who she was told was her dad, one of his neighbors gives her a diary that the mom had, and she starts doing the things that her mom was doing in the diary. So like when her mom was traveling to a certain part of Italy, so was she as she was reading that diary entry. It's really good. It's super cute, and it's just a cute little romance. Love and Gelato. Highly recommend to literally anybody who loves a cute, short, and simple romance. Sometimes I don't want to sit there and think about it too hard. Sometimes I just want something easy to me. Sue me. So this next one, I don't even know like how I chose to read this, because I don't remember it being popular on TikTok at any point, or Book Talk, sorry. I don't remember it having its moment to shine, so I have no clue what led to me picking this book up and reading it, but I'm so glad I did. So this one is called All This Time by Mickey Daughtry. I'm so pronouncing them wrong, I'm so sorry. Mickey Daughtry and Rachel Lippincott. I actually just recently found out that they're married, which I think is so cute. They're also the authors of 5 Feet Apart. And then they just recently wrote this, well, not recently, but like they also have another book called She Gets the Girl. That one's on my TBR. I haven't read it yet, but I do really want to, because I loved this book. First of all, I think the cover is what drew me in, because the cover is beautiful. Like, look at this. Hold on. You guys need to see this. This is beautiful. This is like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, the spine is really pretty too, and like this is the hardcover. So this book is, I need names because I forgot their names. Okay, so this book is about this boy named Kyle. He is having his prom night, or was it graduation? It was a graduation party, and he's having the time of his life, and he's talking to his girlfriend, who is Kimberly, and he's really like into her. He loves her, and Kimberly's just like, you know, I actually think that we should break up. So on the drive home, they get into a car accident, and Kimberly very unfortunately passes away. And he goes through this very depressive period. And one day when he's at a gravestone, I believe is where they met, he meets this girl named Marley, who is also suffering from a loss that she also blames herself for. So then they become these friends who are just kind of piggyback off of each other on their healing and their grieving, and they end up falling in love. And it's actually a really cute story. You know, at the end of the day, we all just want somebody to love. You know, eventually we all do move on from things that hurt us. And this was such a beautiful way of describing the healing and the grieving process. I just love this book. I love the characters. I love how they were written. The plot twist at the end, I was like, what? Like, oh my god, this book had me 3 a.m. sitting there staring at my wall. Okay, this book was so beautiful. I kind of want to like reread it like right now, because I'm remembering like how insanely beautiful this was. I read this like the year it came out, I think. Let me see when that was. Oh god. This came out in 2020. Yeah, I read this in 2020. This is so good. This was such a cute book. The cover is enough to make you read it, okay? Like, read this. Trust me. Pick up this book now. Like, go to Barnes & Nobles or your local bookstore and pick it up. Trust. we're on the last book. Yay! This last book I also read as soon, I think I bought it the day it came out, because advertising for this book killed. People advertised this book like crazy. I remember they were selling out, not selling out, but they were like handing out advanced copies. I was like, what is the word? Advanced copies. They were sending out advanced copies, and when people read the advanced copies, they were in love with this book series. This book, sorry, it's not a series, it's a book. And when it did come out, I bought it immediately, and I read it immediately, and I loved it immediately. And when I read this, I was like, I cannot believe that this is actually this author's first ever published book, because it is beautiful. And it's Counting Down With You by Tashi Yang. Oh my god, you guys, this book was, oh god, so sweet and precious. This was when I was sticky notes were my best friend. And I also, like I said, I really did genuinely love this book. It was one of the first books I ever read where the main character suffered with anxiety, and the main character had goals and dreams that she wanted to pursue, but her family wasn't in favor of her pursuing. I found so much relatability with the main character. Let me tell you her name. So we have Karina. I just had so much relatability to her, and just the way that her character was portrayed was so beautiful to me. I found myself written in these pages. But this one's about this girl. Her parents are out of the country, I believe it was, for a month, 28 days. And in those 28 days, this bad boy, Ace Clyde, he starts this rumor that he's dating the main character, Karina. It's a fake dating trope. Like I said, I love the fake dating trope. It is one of my favorites. It's my go-to. I'm like talking about these books to you guys, and I'm like, I want to just like sit here and reread them forever. But yeah, it's really gorgeous, and she's tutoring him, which is how they know each other. And she's like, fine, like I'll do it, but only for that 1 month that my parents are gone, because when they come back and if they find out, like I'm literally like bury me 6 feet under. So it was so gorgeous though. Maybe I'll give her a reread. I just, like I said, I really just love the relatability that I found myself in Karina, and it was just so beautiful. Like the romance was super good, the friends were good. I did hear from critics that the representation in this book wasn't very good. Like the diversity representation wasn't good. So that, I will say, I feel like that kind of does lose a point, because I feel like the representation, if you're making out a character to be part of something in the minority, you should know how to properly represent the minority. But I did hear that this book does not do a very valid representation of the minority. So that is something that you should think about if you're thinking about reading this book. The representation supposedly isn't very accurate, which honestly sucks. I do think that really sucks. But however, plot-wise and story-wise, I think this book is incredible. Like I said, I found myself written into this character. I thought about this book for like weeks after I finished reading it. I told everyone in my life to read it. I highly recommend this book if you, I don't even know like what person should read this, but I feel like when you know, you know. And I feel like if you know that this is something that you're interested in, or if you think like the cover's pretty and you're like, let me look it up, you never know, this could be something for you. So these are all of my favorite books. That's actually it, which is crazy. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched all the way through, you're incredible, and I love you already. I hope you guys stick around. I have a lot of ideas for this YouTube channel, so I'm really hoping that I'll actually continue this and that I won't just ghost. But I have a lot of ideas and I'm very excited. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, night, month, year, everything. Stay awesome, stay cool. Love you guys already. Mwah. Bye.